Hello children, hope you all are doing good. I'm your computer science teacher. So in last class we have seen about the third unit, yes, your third unit, 8th standard, chapter 3, Adobe Photoshop CS6. So in this class, today's class, we are going to see the remaining portions of your third unit, yes. So let us have a short recap for the things we have done on previous day. So what is Adobe Photoshop? It is a image editing software. Who has developed the Adobe Photoshop software? It was manufactured by Adobe Systems Inc. Okay, so it is considered as one of the most powerful image editing software. So we can manipulate, crop, resize and correct the color on digital photos using this software. So this software is used by whom? Various professionals like photographers, graphic designers, animators, etc. Right? So we have seen about the features of Adobe Photoshop. Yes, it is a user-friendly interface, advanced image adjustments, edit motion-based material. It produces multiple or complex images. We can also create graphics with the main advantage of reduced file size. Yes, okay. Next we have seen how to start your Adobe Photoshop. Start all programs Adobe Photoshop CS6, or we can simply click the shortcut menu which is present on your desktop. Clear? So next we have seen how to set up the document. So in order to set up the document with this software, some advanced planning should be done. Yes. So for example, if you would like to design a brochure, always we should have a horizontal and double-sided document setup. Okay. Next we have seen the steps to create a new document, which is under the new option from file menu. So your new dialog box will appear. Next we have seen the options available in your new dialog box. What are the options? In order to change your page size and orientation, we need to edit the values in your width and height field. Next we have seen the resolution, which is nothing but the number of pixels present on a printed area of the image. If the resolution is higher, the image quality will be better. Also it occupies much space. So always we should have a recommended resolution for printed images. It is 150 to 300, and for web images it is 72. Clear? Next we have seen the color mode. So always we should choose a best color mode from the two options, which are RGB and CMYK. Okay, next we have seen about the background contents. So we can select white background color or transparent, okay, from the background contents in the new dialog box. Okay, clear? So next we have seen about the interface layout. What are the options available in this interface layout? Yes, so once you create the interface, you will be showing various options, okay, various menus. First is main menu. On the top of your interface, your main menu appears. Next is image. It shows the image in its own window. Image name option displays the opened image name. Okay. Next we have seen about the palettes. So by default, all the palettes will be sticked together in groups. Okay. What are the default palettes? Usually visible, color, adjustment and layers. So if no palettes are visible, we need to go to the window in the main menu and choose the desired palettes. Clear for everyone? Okay. So the most commonly used palettes are color, switches and style. Okay, so the color contextual tab displays the current foreground and background colors. Okay, and the RGB colors we can edit the values. Okay, so in the switches contextual tab, it shows the foreground and background color, and we can add a customized color to the library. Okay, so this is swatches contextual tab. So what about the styles contextual tab? It allows to view, select and apply the preset layer styles. Okay, so by default it replaces the current layer style. Okay, so see, we can also customize our own style using the create new style icon. Okay, see, it is given in the bold letters. Okay, so this is the styles contextual tab. Okay, clear? Next we have seen about the toolbox. So various toolbox are used for easy access with this software. So some hidden tools are also there. Okay, so how it is represented? The hidden tools always have a small white triangle, okay, in the right corner of the tool. So to view the hidden tools, we need to click and hold down on any tool, okay, which has a white triangular at the right side. So next we have seen about the tool, how to select the tool. First we have seen about the mark tool. So this tool allows to select the only particular portion of the image in different shapes, okay. So there are 4 mark tools are there. So next we have seen about the steps, okay, how to use the mark tool by choosing either rectangular mark or elliptical mark, okay. So we need to drag the mark over the selected area of an image. Next we have seen about lasso tool. What is lasso tool? It is used to select an object by drawing a freehand border around it, okay, understand. So with this lasso tool we are going to draw a free-handed border around the selected object. So what are the steps to use this lasso tool? First we need to select the lasso tool, then draw a freehand border around the area of the image. Clear? So next we have seen about magic wand tool. So it is a quick selection tool, okay, which is used to select pixels of same or similar fill color with one click, okay. So this magic wand tool, using this we can able to select the pixels of same or similar fill color, okay. What are the steps to use this magic tool? Select the magic wand tool, so we can click anywhere around the image, right? Clear? So next see this using magic wand tool. Next we have seen about move tool. For what we are using move tool? In order to select and move the entire image or only the particular portion of the image, okay. So using this move tool we are going to select only the particular portion of the image, or if we want we can move the entire image from one place to other place, right? Next we have seen about the steps to use this move tool. How to use the move tool? First we need to select the particular part of the image or the whole area of the image, okay. Then select the move tool from the toolbox, drag the selected part of the image to the desired location. Where we want to move the location, okay, we need to select and drag to the particular location. Next we have seen about the crop tool. What do you mean by cropping? Cropping is nothing but selecting only the required part of the image, right? So this crop tool is used to remove or hide parts of an image which are not required. Clear? So what are the steps to use this crop tool? First select the crop tool from the toolbox, then click and drag the tool over the part of the image that is to be kept as desired, okay. Then we can resize the selected area. How to resize? By dragging the squares at the sides and corners. Clear? Then press enter key after placing the size of the crop box correctly. So see this picture using crop tool. Then the second picture shows the cropped image. We have selected only the required part of the image. Yes. So next we have seen about the eyedropper tool. What is eyedropper tool? It is used to take color samples, okay, from colors on the page and displays them in the color box. So see this first picture, it shows the eyedropper tool which selects the only the particular color from the picture. The second diagram shows the picture which shows the required part of the image in the desired color, okay. So what are the steps to use this eyedropper tool? Select the eyedropper tool from the toolbox, click on the color of the image for the desired part to be sampled, okay. Clear, children, for everyone? So in this class we are going to see how to draw and select the tools, right? So these tools are used for drawing and selecting the part segments of the image, okay. First we'll see about the type tool. This tool is used to type the text on a page. There are 4 different type tools. They are horizontal type tool, vertical type tool, horizontal type mask tool, vertical type mask tool, okay. So these are the 4 type tools available in Adobe Photoshop CS6, okay. So why this type tool is used? In order to type the text, okay, on a particular page, okay. We'll see the steps to use this type tool? First select the desired type tool from the toolbox. In the toolbox various tools will be presented, right? So we need to select the desired type tool. Okay, then click on the page and begin to type. After selecting the tool, you need to click on the page. Then you can start typing the text on the page, right? Specify the font and size in the options bar. Resize and transform the text box by dragging the squares at the sides and corner. How to resize? As I told you already, by dragging the squares, okay, at the sides and corner. We would like to resize this. If you would like to resize this text box, right? So then use the move tool to move the text on the page. After typing the text on the page, to move to the different location, we can use the move tool. Clear? Okay, fine. So see this picture. Using this type tool, we have typed honeybee and the flower. Yes, in the picture we have typed honeybee and the flower. Clear? So clear how to use the type tool. Next we'll see about the pen tool. Okay, so this tool is used to draw smooth edged paths on defined parts in the image, right? So why we are using pen tool? In order to draw a smooth edged paths, okay, we can draw a smooth edged path, okay, on defined paths in the image. How to use this? Select the pen tool from the toolbox, click on the page and drag to draw a path. Click and drag the anchor points to modify the path. Okay, see this picture everyone. Flower is given, right? Rose flower is given here. This arrow mark shows the pen tool. Okay, so after selecting the pen tool, we just want to click on the page and drag this pen tool, okay, in order to draw a anchor points to modify the path. Clear? So next we'll see about the path selection tool. Okay, so this tool is used to select paths and path segments. So the steps to use the path selection tool are: select the path selection tool from the toolbox, click anywhere on the desired path. See this picture. We have selected the path selection tool, okay, from the toolbox. We can click anywhere on the desired path, okay. So why this tool is used? In order to select the path and path segment, okay. So see this picture. Fine. So next we'll see about the color boxes and modes. The foreground color appears in the upper color selection box and represents an active color. The background color appears in the lower box and represents an inactive color. See this picture. Selected foreground and background colors using color boxes. So this picture shows the color boxes, whereas the box which is filled with red color shows the foreground color. Okay, it is the active color. The white picture, the box with white image shows the background color, okay, which represents an inactive color. Clear? Okay, so to change the foreground color, click the upper color selection box in the toolbox. To change the background color, click the lower color selection box in the toolbox. To reverse the foreground and background colors, click the switch colors icon in the toolbox, right? So in order to change the foreground color, we can simply click the upper color selection box, okay, in the toolbox. So in order to change a background color, simultaneously you can click the lower color selection box in the toolbox, right? So to reverse the foreground and background colors, we can select the switch colors icon. Okay, see in this picture one arrow mark is there, right? So this arrow mark is used to reverse the foreground and background colors. Okay, so to restore the default foreground and background colors, click the default color icons, the little black and white boxes in the toolbox. See this picture. The little box which is next to the arrow mark, it shows the default foreground and background colors. Okay, so in order to select the restore the default colors, we can just simply click this default colors icon. Okay, clear? So this is about the color boxes and modes. So see the simply remember box. The shortcut keys of all the tools can be viewed by mouse hover on the tool specified in parenthesis. Okay. So next we'll see about how to insert an image or text. Okay, so what are the steps? Open the Adobe Photoshop CS6 interface, select file from the main menu and click new option. Select the correct page size as desired. Select file from file main menu and click open option. First we need to start your software Adobe Photoshop, then click file, then new option, then select the correct page size, then after that again click file menu, then click open option, right? So select the picture from the desired location and click open button. In order to open the desired picture, browse the system and select the desired picture, then select the mark tool to select the picture or image. Why mark tool is used? In order to select the desired, right, particular portion or the whole image. Clear? Then select the move tool and drag the picture on layer 1. The picture gets copied to the desired place. So here we are using move tool in order to move your picture. Okay, drag the picture to layer 1 interface, right? So now the picture gets copied to the desired place. Increase the pixels to fit the image correctly. Okay, after moving the desired picture to layer 1 interface, we need to increase the pixels in order to fit the image correctly in the layer, right? So select image from main menu and click image size to adjust the pixels, right? How to adjust the pixels? You can just click the image size, okay, from the image main menu. See this example. If the original pixels were 500 to 500, change it to 2000 into 2000 pixels. So if you increase the pixels, the image quality will be better, right? It increases the resolution. Okay, so this is about how to insert an image or text. Next we'll see how to save a file. Okay, so we have opened Adobe Photoshop, we have edited some image. Okay, we have opened a picture, we have edited the image. Now we are going to save the file. How to save a file? The steps to save a Photoshop document are: select file menu from the main menu, then click save as option. So after clicking save as option, save as dialog box will appear. See this? So see this picture, this is the save as dialog box. Okay, then enter the name of the document in the file menu text box. Choose a format to save the project from the format drop down menu. Click the save button. So how to save this file? First select file menu, then click save as option, so that your save as dialog box will appear. In the file name text box, you need to edit the file name whichever you want. Okay, then choose the format from the default formats available in the format drop down menu, then click the save button, so that your image gets saved in the specified location. Okay, so see this check corner, saving the file in PSD Photoshop document default Photoshop saving format. The layers will be preserved with large file size, but saving the same file in JPEG format will flatten the layers into one layer, making the file size significantly small. What do you mean by this? If we save the file in Adobe Photoshop, it will be saved with the extension PSD. What do you mean by PSD? It is nothing but the Photoshop default Photoshop document extension. Okay, so this will increase the file size, but if we save the same file with a JPEG format, okay, it will flatten the layers into single layer, so that your image size will be reduced. Clear? So let us revise this old chapter. What is Photoshop? It is an image editing software developed and manufactured by Adobe Systems, right? So in order to set up the document correctly, some advanced planning is required, right? So palettes contain functions that helps to monitor and modify the images. So by default, what are the palettes we have? So all the palettes are stacked together in groups. Okay, the color contextual tab displays the current foreground and background color and RGB values of these colors. So the selection tools helps to select the whole or part of the required image. The foreground color appears in the upper color selection box and represents an active color, right? whereas the background color appears in the lower color selection box and it represents the inactive color. Okay, so this is about this lesson, children. Your third unit, Adobe Photoshop CS6. So I have already uploaded the PDF, okay, book back questions and answers for this unit. So all of you take your classwork and write the book back questions by seeing the PDF. Clear? And come and submit your classwork. Let me correct it for you. Okay, so see the video and revise this whole chapter. Okay, thank you all.